In this video, I'm going to show you how to integrate Calendly with AttractWell. And I'm going to start with how to set up free bookings, and then I'll do a separate video on how to do paid bookings because they're slightly different processes and I don't want the video to be super long. So first I'm starting in Calendly. And the first thing to do is get your Calendly all set up. If you have a free account with Calendly, it lets you have one call type. If you need multiple call types, like a 30-minute call, a 1-hour call, or calls for different things, then you need to upgrade, but they're pretty inexpensive. I think it's like $7 a month for the first plan, which gives you multiple call types, and you can brand it out a bit too and add your logo and things. So I think it's a worthwhile thing if you are going to be doing lots of booking for your business. But basically you set up your call types and you're going to go to your availability and set your general availability. So this is where you're setting the times in which somebody can book you. Okay, so you're going to set up, I'm only available Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday to Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever you want. And then the times that you're working, that somebody could book you. Okay, so somebody could book me between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. on these 2 days, 9 to 10 on this day. You can kind of get the idea. You can add those times. It's set to your time zone, but it'll show the user their time zone. So when someone's booking with me, they're going to see it in their time zone, which is great. Now, if I need to book off time, I can simply come in here to availability and say, I am not available on this date, and X out those 2 times. So I have no availability, and it says I'm unavailable on February 15th, and then nobody can book me on that day. So if you're going to be using this system, you really want to keep this up to date and make sure that you're adding in or booking that time off for yourself if you have appointments, so that you don't double book yourself, because that's awkward. So once you get your availability, then you can go set your different event types. So I'll go into this first one here and just show you some things that you can do in here. So in your event details, what I do is for event type, I don't connect it to Zoom directly because I'm using Zoom in AttractWell. I can't link it to my Zoom account. So I set it to custom instead of Zoom. Because if I click Zoom, it's going to want to connect to a Zoom account, and I can't do that through here. So I'm going to hit custom and then I type in Zoom. That way I can still use Zoom. And this will make sense soon. Okay, so I set that up. That's my location. And then I have my description, all of that. And then we can go back to hosts and attendees, how many people, if it's going to be a group thing, schedule settings. You can set it to use your default availability, which is what I have done here. If you want to have custom availability, then you can add custom availability for each call type. But I think it's easier to have just general availability, and where you set your availability earlier, and then just set this each call type to default to that. It's much easier than having to come in here and change it lots of times. So then you can have buffer time. So I have 10 minutes before and after every call. I have to have a minimum of 8 hours notice. You can give yourself 24 hours notice if you prefer. You can have a limit on how many calls within a day. So those are all things you want to consider so that you don't burn out or have calls back to back. And I have it set to show in the time zone in that person's time zone and not in my time zone, and show the increments in 15-minute increments on the booking. So over here, if they click this, they can choose. You can see the 15-minute increments in the time that I'm available. All right, now, if you want to add payment to Calendly for when we do paid, you can also connect payment in here, but I'm going to show you the pros and cons of that in my next video on how to do paid bookings, because there's definitely pros and cons to doing payment in Calendly versus payment in AttractWell. So we'll walk through the difference in that, and you can decide what works best for you. So then booking page option, this is if they're asking, you're going to ask them any questions when they book. So you can either just ask them for their name and email, or you can ask them to tell you some things before your call. So you can add in even some general intake questions there, which could be really useful for you. So I encourage you to look at that. So if I go to workflows in the main menu here, I can actually set the email reminders to go out instead of doing it in each call type, which I think is a little bit easier. So if you go to workflows, you can actually add a workflow. You can hit new workflow in here. And I'll show you what I've done in this one. So I have email reminder to the invitee. And when this happens, 15 minutes before the event starts, I'm going to send them a reminder. and then you can edit the email. So you just hit edit, and then I go in and say, okay, your Zoom link is inside, and I paste the Zoom link in there. So if I've created the Zoom link in AttractWell and I create it as a recurring Zoom link, I can then come in here and paste that in here so that Calendly is actually the one sending the Zoom link, which is really useful. And then I've got it so that I think it sends them a reminder 15 minutes beforehand, and I think immediately when they first book, it sends them two. So you can set up as many reminders as you want and also follow-up emails in there. And then I have it set to all call types. So which event type will this be for? And I've selected both my call types so that when someone books, it's sending them those emails. And I'm using the same Zoom link for both call types. So if you want different Zoom links, then you'll have to create different workflows for different call types. But basically, you're going to go through and set that up. And then once that's done, go up to my event types. So yes, go to there. So now I can get this link up here, or I can embed this on my website. So I'll show you how to do a few different things. First, we're going to take this link here, and you can actually have it so that AttractWell sends somebody over here. So if I go into a landing page, so say I created book a free consultation with me. Book a free call now as the landing page. In the settings, after registration, send visitor to, paste. Now, when they fill out this form, it's going to send them directly to Calendly. The advantage to having the landing page and not just sending someone directly to Calendly via a link is that Calendly is not going to talk to AttractWell. It's not going to tell AttractWell that someone booked. So if you want to capture that lead, you need to start in AttractWell. So if they enter their name and email here, they go into your system in AttractWell. They're going to be in your contact management system now. So if they don't end up booking, even though it's going to take them over to Calendly, they're still in your system. So it's better to set this up, and then it opens AttractWell, or Calendly, I should say, and then they book over there. Now, if you want to embed your calendar on your website, then what you would do is from this page here, go to the gear and hit add to website. Now you can choose which one you want. You're going to want inline embed, and then hit continue. And then you're going to copy and paste this text in here. However, you can go through here and adjust the text color and the button link. So you might want to do that to make it more on brand for you. You can enter the hex color if you want. I'll just make it purple. So do that first, make those changes, and then you can copy code. All right, now we're going to go over to a blank custom page. So I'm just going to add a blank page, and then I'm going to add a one column section. And I'm going to click on the text, and I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to go to the ... and I'm going to hit code view. And I'm going to hit paste. And then I'm going to hit code view again. We're not intimidated by this. You can do this. It's copy and paste. And I just let it load, and look at that. I hit save. So we can call this page whatever you want. So we can call it, I'll call it my test booking page. And I'll show you how that looks. View. So now they can, this is actually Calendly on here, and they can pick which call type, open it up, and then pick a date, and they're actually on my site. So that can be really handy. However, like I said before, if they go straight here, they're not landing in your contact manager when they book. So to get around that, what you want to do is take the link for this page, go back to that landing page, and I'll call it, go back to the landing page and redirect now to that page where your calendar is embedded. So book a free call now, name and email, yes, I want this, settings, after registration, send visitor to, and it's going to take them now to that page where you've embedded your calendar. So if I test this, yes, I want this, and it comes right here, and they book, and it's all beautiful. And because you've set up the workflows in Calendly with your Zoom link, then when they book, it's automatically going to send the Zoom link to them. So it's wonderful and automated. And you can also link Calendly to your Google Calendar, which is what I do, so that when somebody books with me, they land on my Google Calendar and my alerts go off on both my phone and my computer that tell me I have a call, so that I just have to start my calls, which is great. It saves so much time and it's wonderful and automated, and I don't have to do anything manually each time somebody books with me. And I book probably 3 or 4 calls a day. So this is a really streamlined, clean system for me. So hopefully that is really helpful for you. And then check out my next video on how to add payment to this. If you're looking to create a website with AttractWell, make sure you check out my 3 resources. First, my ebook on how to create a beautiful website that walks you through all the steps and layouts and SEO tips that you need to set up a gorgeous website. You can also visit my website template shop, where I sell AttractWell and Get Oiling website templates and bundles. And lastly, make sure you check out my website workshop, where I provide all the tutorials and templates and step-by-step guidance that you need to get your website fully up and running.